Hello and welcome to Canadian Franchise Opportunities, your guide to Canadian franchises. You can find us on the web at cafranchiseopportunities.com. Now today's presentation is on the Tim Hortons franchise and what we can learn, or what you can learn from their success. And we've got 5 lessons here to detail. Let's get started. Now first of all, not every franchise can be named for a hockey legend, clearly, and not every franchise can experience the same success as Tim Hortons franchise. But there is a key principle here, and that is learn from the success of others. So we're going to focus on what has made Tim Hortons franchise so successful, and to help you evaluate other franchises that you might be looking at in this category. Let's get started. So lesson 1 is a consistent customer experience. The Tim Hortons franchise, or Timmy's as it's commonly called, offers a consistent cup of coffee along with other items like flavored cappuccinos, specialty teas, soups, sandwiches, etc. Now the coffee is not a gourmet blend, but it's a simple, consistently good brew that gets a customer off to a great start in the morning or keeps them going through the day. So question is, how do they do this? Well, they do it because they have a clearly defined set of operational procedures and policies that every franchise follows. Tim Hortons serves its coffee within 20 minutes of being brewed, or it's not served at all. That's just an example of one of their policies. Of course, their facilities are always clean, the people are always cheerful, there's no frills or fanfare, it's just consistently good. So here's some questions for you to ask as you look at quick service restaurants. How does the franchise ensure a consistent customer experience? Key question. Do all franchises operate in the same manner? They better, or if you don't see that, then there's some issues. What are the key operational components needed for success? Obviously, a high quality product is probably one of the most important components, but there's others. Ask questions of the franchisees and the franchisors and see what kind of answers you get around this question. And here's a suggestion. Visit multiple franchises and experience the product or the service yourself. And do that as part of your franchise evaluation. And make sure that you're getting a consistent customer experience. Okay, lesson number 2, product innovation. This is extremely important. And the Tim Hortons franchise does not stick with the status quo. In fact, since 1964, they've continuously introduced new products. From the baguette sandwich to chili to breakfast sandwiches, smoothies, etc. And let's not forget, probably one of their most famous introductions is the trademarked Timbits. That alone has grown to become one of the most significant symbols of their success, and they have over 39 varieties of Timbits. Just imagine the success that's created for the franchisees because of this innovation. Now here's some questions for you to ask. Does the franchise you're looking at, does it have a history of product innovation? And yeah, there may be promises made for the future, but don't make your decision based on promises. Make it based on what's actually happened in the past. Do they have a history? Number 2, does the franchise have products that appeal to today's customer? Or do they have products that they're simply trying to continue to leverage, but they appeal more to yesterday's customer? An example of that would be healthy versus non-healthy. We have a much more healthier attitude in today's society. Does it attract both young, old, families, and singles? In other words, does it have a broad customer base? The broader the customer base, the greater your chance for success. And here's a suggestion. Visit multiple franchises at different times of the day on different days. And just take note of the customer mix and the volume. Are the products attracting the customer base that you need for your franchise? Okay, lesson number 3. Customer convenience. This is a critical lesson when it comes to QSR. Now, convenience has to also be combined with quick service. So when you look at the Tim Hortons franchise, they really truly understand what it means to succeed in this category. It is now the largest quick service restaurant in Canada, and it'll exceed 4,000 stores by the end of 2013. And of course, most locations are open 24 hours, going to that convenience factor. And of course, there's one other thing you need to really consider when it comes to the quick service restaurant, and that's location, location, location. This is critical. You can have the best products, the best customer service, but if you don't have the right location, then your business is going to struggle. So here's some questions for you to ask. Does the franchisor help you select a location and negotiate the lease? These are two very key things. Is the location convenient for travelers to access and easily seen from their vehicle? How efficient is the franchise in serving its customers? It's not called quick service restaurant for nothing. Now here's a suggestion. Again, visit multiple franchises, but do it during the busiest times of the day to see how the rush is handled. And don't sign on the dotted line until you've found a great location. Okay, number 4, customer loyalty. Now the term customer loyalty for Tim Hortons not only applies to the general public that each Tim Hortons franchise serves, but it also refers to its franchisees. A franchisor that knows what it takes to develop loyal franchisees, what do? They focus on the franchise's success. So when looking at a franchise, make sure that it maintains a close relationship for its franchisees and it's involved in the community. If you look at Tim Hortons, one of the most widely recognized consumer brands in Canada, it's highly involved in its communities. And with that sort of customer loyalty comes a recognized brand like Tim Hortons. Now, you may find a franchise that doesn't have, of course, the same recognized brand. Very few do when compared to a Tim Hortons franchise. But if you find a franchise that has customer loyalty, don't worry, that brand is going to follow. Now, here's some questions for you to ask. What's the franchisor's relationship with existing franchisees? How involved are the franchises in their communities? And how frequently do customers return to the establishment? And here's a suggestion. Visit a franchise that is in a territory similar to yours. That's key. Similar to yours. And see how involved they are in the community. And ask if you can actually work at the location for a couple of weeks at no cost to the franchise, just to get a feel for it and to see how it works. Okay, lesson number 5, a solid marketing strategy. Now, this is an example of not having a solid marketing strategy. And you can see these two guys talking here, and the guy says, that's your big marketing plan? Writing open on the wall? Okay, that is not a marketing strategy. So what is? In today's world, we are also focused on the web and spend so much time there now. You want to make sure that the franchise you're considering has a solid online marketing strategy. Now, of course, some might say, well, yeah, Tim Hortons, they're just lucky. They have the luxury of a large marketing budget. But you know what? They also have the burden of covering a very large geographic area. Now, when considering or evaluating franchises that do not yet have an established brand and are working on a limited budget, that's all the more important reason to have a solid marketing strategy, because every penny counts and every penny needs to be maximized. So you need to look for a franchise that can provide you with details around how it drives customers, and here's the key, at the local level. It's got to be local because that's where you are, and using an internet-based approach. Now here's some questions for you to ask. How successful are existing franchisee Facebook fan pages in connecting with customers and increasing the frequency of visits? That's a good question, because Facebook is becoming one of the most common ways to connect in that business-to-consumer environment. Now, does the franchisee have a local search engine optimized website? So, for example, if I am in, say, the pizza business, if I type in, and I live in Oakville, and I type in pizza Oakville, then my website better be coming up on that first page of Google or on my mobile phone if I'm going to compete in today's market. So take a really close look at how that's being done. And ask, what is the internet marketing strategy and plan for franchisees? That's probably the most key question you can ask, because without a solid marketing strategy, you have to ask yourself, where are your customers going to come from? How are they going to learn about you? And here's a suggestion. Examine different franchisees' Facebook pages to see how well they're maintained and look for that public interaction. Okay? Now here's a quick summary. Look for a consistent customer experience. You want a time-tested, proven operational model. Look for a history of continuous product innovation. Tomorrow's success depends on it. Customer convenience is key. Convenience equals customers. Customer loyalty. You can't have a successful quick service restaurant without it. Look at it both from the public customer and the franchisee perspective. And then lastly, a solid marketing strategy. This is what's needed to secure customers at the local level. Now I want to thank you for listening. Please be sure and visit us at cafranchiseopportunities.com and check out our free tools. We have a Franchising 101 paper. It gives you some basics around franchising. We have a 22-page ebook entitled Franchise Fit, Finding the Right Franchise Starts With You. This will really help you ask some key questions of yourself to see if you're a good fit for franchising. And then finally, check out the Franchise Evaluation SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. And this really gives you a good model to help you evaluate your franchises. And if you found this video helpful, please like us and spread the word. Again, thanks for listening.